Soul Simmers, I wanted to do a walkthrough on how to do Jungle Adventure. I've actually never played this game pack, even though I've had it for a while. So I sent my sim on vacation, and I did a whole separate video on how to send your sims on the vacation if you've never done it before. So basically, from the phone option, you do go to travel to take vacation and select which sims you want your sim to go on vacation with. You can either send your sim alone or with up to 7 other sims. Then it will take you to the option to pick what world you want to send your sim into. So you can either pick a destination world, or you can use any world that has a vacation lot already put down. So there are 7 worlds in the base game, and then there's a couple that you can add to. Then once you pick where you want to go and pick how many days you want to stay, you will arrive at your lot. I didn't have my sim stay on the home lot very long. Because this is a brand new save, I didn't have any equipment on me. And if you were better prepared than I am, you would probably bring a tent and a cooler with you. You can't enter build mode when you're in a destination world, so unfortunately you're not able to buy that if you didn't already bring it with you. So my sim needs supplies is essentially what my issue is. So you want to go to the local bar in Salvadorada, and there are some market stands where they sell random objects, and you can get food and drinks as well. I recommend before you start doing any sort of exploration that you get your supplies and you make sure your sim is fully fed before you get started. You can also go to the bar and meet people, talk to locals, ask about the culture and how to complete the temples. I'm gonna give you some generic like pop-up advice. So I sent my sim to get some food so he could start the day on a full stomach. And the food stand is open, I want to say like 10 to 8. So you have a pretty good selection of time. And there's some different recipes that you normally wouldn't be able to make at home. So you learn more about the Salvadoran culture by eating some of the local food. And once you've tried some of the recipes, you can actually cook it at home. Now, once the market stands start, you're able to kind of check out what they're offering. The only thing about preparing for the Jungle Adventure is that the market stands sell different things every day. You don't really have control over what they're selling, so you're kind of at a disadvantage. Some market stands sell food, some sell like a shower in a bottle, some sell machetes, bat traps, bug sprays. It just depends on who's selling what. So you're kind of in a bad way if the market stand that day that you're ready to go isn't stocked with what you're looking for. So I have my son buy some waterfall in a bottle to keep his hygiene up, some plasma bat bait just to keep bats away, some fizzy drink for energy, liquid rush so they don't get tired, grilled cheese ready to eat. I mean, some basics, because I wasn't sure. Like I said, I've never played through this before, so I wasn't 100% sure what he would be looking for. Once you've got whatever supplies you think you're going to get, you want to travel to the Bilowiza Trailhead. And I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. I'm actually not sure. So the trailhead is how you're going to start exploring. So the trailhead's pretty ready. Like, it has a grill, it has an outdoor bathroom, and it has some instructions on a sign. So your first obstacle is getting through the trail itself. So you can either clear the trail with your hands, or you can clear the trail with a machete. You run the risk if you use the machete to try to break down like vines and branches and stuff that it could break the machete. So you don't want to use it too much. And then the signage will just give you like a preparation checklist and some other recommendations. It kind of reminds you of the signage from Snowy Escape if you ever did the like the snow expedition from that one. So for my sim, they tell you to make sure that you go to the marketplace vendors and find some options, but the selection changes all the time. And then if for whatever reason your sim ends up getting poisoned, you're going to have to reach out to locals for a cure. I'm grateful that my sim never got poisoned during this experience, but that is something to keep in mind. Since he was a brand new sim that I made from the start, he didn't have any like fitness skill or handiness skill or really any skills. So it took a while actually to kind of get him to do things because he wasn't that talented. The skills actually affect the pop-up menus too. So throughout the exploration process while you're in the jungle, there's going to be different pop-up menus that you'll have 2 to 3 options to pick between. So, for example, quicksand. Emery stumbles and drops his bag of personal effects right into the quicksand. Should he reach in and try to get it or let it go? So to get it, you need a higher logic skill to have a better result, or you can use the machete, but it consumes the machete. So I chose to let him let it go. I didn't want to risk losing the machete, and he didn't really have any logic skills, so I was afraid that if I tried it, that wouldn't work. The only issue I saw with the jungle is it's kind of hard to explore. Like, I wasn't sure how to get across when there was a bridge that was missing. I don't know if that was a glitch or if that's the way the game came. And I wasn't always sure what archways my sim needed to go through. And it wasn't really intuitive. Like, the sim didn't autonomously go through archways or have any sense of direction. So I kind of just randomly explored. Sometimes you'll find excavation piles that you can like dig up and treasure chests that you can open. It just depends on where you go. There are some like walkthrough guides online, like Carl Sims Guides has a walkthrough guide for Jungle Adventure. I think there's a total of 4 or 5 temples that your sim can explore and get treasures from. But overall, I don't think there's like a high like replayability. Once you've done this a few times, you've pretty much seen all you needed to see. And the pop-up menus aren't that exciting either, unless your sim has a lot of skill. So for example, Emery is blazing a trail through the thick jungle. Does he want to steal something or not? And it's like, I chose to not let him steal. I was very risk adverse in this game, only because my sim has 0 skills before starting. If you played with a sim that you've already used before, you probably would have more success. Different areas throughout the jungle had like treasure chests, which you can push open and has different like cultural artifacts. As your sim builds up their Salvadorian culture skill and their archaeology skill, you can use these artifacts and sell them and put them together and like restore them. But you have to have the archaeology table, which obviously my sim doesn't have on vacation, so I wasn't actually able to go through that. And then with the excavation piles, again, you can find some hidden treasures, some different artifacts, things that need to be restored. Again, can be kind of challenging because the residential rental lot, the vacation lot that came pre-made with this world didn't have one of those. So my sim would basically have to go home, buy the archaeology table, restore it, and then come back here to sell it. So it's like, it's a lot of work. One thing I also had a gripe with about vacation worlds is you still get all the pop-ups for the festivals that happen in the regular world. So I got a lot of pop-ups for festivals that happen in Nordstad, and for the Life and Death world and City Living, because I have those expansion packs, but you can't really travel to those from the destination world. So I don't know why that kept popping up. I wish there was a way to disable some of those. But yeah, I got lost. There were several times where I was just like scrolling through the map trying to figure out where my sim is supposed to go, or what archways they can go. Some things were outside of my sim's skill level. And then I also had to really keep an eye on all of his needs. Because I don't have a cooler, I don't have a tent, like sleeping outdoors is not really an option for my sim. So again, I wasn't the best prepared to do this. And then you're not really sure what direction to go in. I feel like I went through the same archways like 3 or 4 times because I was super confused. And they all kind of look the same or have the same kind of features. And a lot of stuff is not clickable, like that broken down plane. You can't actually interact with it. I wish you could like restore it and actually try to fly it or something. Or at least have a pop-up like to tell you, oh, this sim got stuck here on an adventure 500 years ago or whatever. And then because it's a rainforest or a forest outside, it's also really warm. So your sim has a propensity to get tired faster and potentially overheat being outdoors. So I think because I didn't have a tent and there isn't any way to buy one here, I had to send my sim home quite a bit every evening pretty much because there was nowhere to put him, and I didn't want him to pass out here. So you do the best you can each day, try to do as many treasure chests and excavations as you can. The artifacts will just go into your inventory, so you don't have to worry about like holding on to those. And it wasn't too hard to build up the skill. Even though my sim had like 0 skills when I first sent him on vacation, he quickly gained gardening, archaeology, and Salvadorian culture just from spending time in the jungle for a little bit. I think the gardening skill came from breaking down the vines by hand. And then you get quite a bit of moodlets, especially if you're successful with excavation digs and solving the quick time events and stuff like that. So it's a great way for your sim to gain skills too, if that's what they need to do. I just wish there was some sort of map or a way to know where I'm supposed to go. Like, I feel like that was something I needed to cross, but there was no bridge there. So I don't know if it was just the day that I went there was no bridge, or if there was something I was supposed to click to make a bridge, but I could not get my sim across. And so once I had explored through like one or two archways, I felt like there was nothing else for me to do that day. So that was kind of frustrating too, because I had to extend my sim's vacation. What is great is once you're back at the trailhead, you can shower, you can use the bathroom. There's other sims that are usually hanging out there that you can talk to. So you're not 100% isolated. It's really just while you're on the trail itself, there's no one to interact with. So that was my only gripe. So I sent my son back home. I wanted to get his skills back up. He was hungry. He was tired. He needed a shower. So I was like, okay, well, let me give him a rest. Again, I think it would have been beneficial to have a tent, a cooler, more food, things that so he wouldn't have to come home every night. So I spent quite a bit of time letting him kind of regather his strength. And then, like I said, just a sheer number of pop-ups was exhausting. I wish I would have sent my sim with another sim too, because his social need was hard to keep up since he didn't really know anyone locally and he didn't bring anyone. He was kind of isolated throughout the majority of his trip. I will say I don't know who makes these lots. I don't know if EA makes them or if they use like EA Game Changers. But I wish, like I said, I had an archaeology table or, you know, to make the best use of my Sims time, because they really didn't have the time to, like, you have all these artifacts, but you can't sell them to anyone until they've been restored. Now, I tried to have my Sim get an earlier start, but the marketplace actually wasn't open. So once you start hanging out in the area, some of the NPCs will just randomly start showing up. But it wasn't as early as I would have wanted to be ready. I was ready to send my sim out on an adventure at 5 a.m., but none of the marketplace and stuff were open. So I let him hang out at the bar for a little bit until that took place. But the vacation was going to end. So I had to keep extending the vacation out because I wasn't sure how many days it would take to get through it. So if you go back to the phone under travel, you can either end vacation or extend vacation. So I did extend it 3 more days just to give me some more time, because I wasn't getting as far through the jungle adventure as I thought I would have. I thought 1 or 2 days would have been plenty, but it was taking forever. I also bought some more artifacts like a doll and some more bait. I see there's an extra machete out here today, which is great. And so I can actually use the machete more to break down the vines instead of having to do it by hand. That should also save my sim a little bit of time. Feels like the sim day just flies by when you're, trying to get something accomplished. But yeah, it's a challenge. I think when it comes to any vacation world or destination, you're kind of trying to figure out a good balance of gaining skills, completing tasks. It happens to also be his aspiration to do this jungle adventure, so I was trying to help him fulfill his life's journey, because I have life and death installed as well. And so, I had him talk to people and wait until more people were selling. Once I got whatever I was going to get for the day, then I went back to the trailhead. Now, one thing that was great about today is because this is my second day coming back, I didn't have to re-cut down the initial vines and stuff. It remembered what I had already completed. So as long as you stay on vacation and don't go completely back to your home lot and stay within the destination world, you won't have to start from scratch every day, which is nice. Now today, for whatever reason, the bridge was completed, and I was a little confused because I had looked at the same thing like yesterday and the bridge wasn't there. So I don't know how the map did it respawn? Did the bug fix? I'm like super confused, but there was a bridge now. So now my sim can go in a different direction and explore across the bridge, which maybe will give me different options. I never passed up an opportunity to do a dig site, even though I never went through the artifacts that he got yesterday, just because I didn't, I don't know what's going to be worth once my sim gets home. Hopefully the artifact table is small-ish, that, it doesn't take up space in a brand new home. Now, this part of the jungle adventure was really easy. It was clear to tell where my sim needed to go. These bushes are really helpful for like bladder relief and naps. I wish I would have had bushes on the other side. Because my sim could have probably taken a series of naps and stayed out overnight. And then I went back to clearing out, still by hand. I was afraid to lose the machete. I just wasn't sure. Now, clearing the vines by hand does give you a negative moodlet for getting injured or being uncomfortable. So you just kind of have to think about that. The camera jumped around a bit, not sure why. I don't know. Something finicky about being in the jungle. You can't access this without going through these archways. So, like, you couldn't just jump on the map to where he is now. You kind of have to go in order, go through the archways, complete any sort of pop-ups, like all that. And then even once he clears an archway and disappears, I still have to click travel through to make him go through it. So the mysterious petal nestled in the jungle, what looks like an ancient petal of some kind. On top is a shiny treasure. Do you take it or leave it? If you take it, it does require higher skill, which he didn't have. He only had level 2, so he almost got hit by an arrow and like was negatively punished because he only had level 2 Salvadorian culture skill. So he got burnt. He had a swarm of bees descend on him, and he was at the mercy because he didn't have some sort of flower to distract them. So I wasn't sure what that meant. There was no flowers for sale at the marketplace. I don't know what I would have had to do to help. And then I tried to find another way across, and it looked like all the archways were blocked and said that I couldn't go through. I don't know if that's because I messed up trying to steal the treasure or just because they were blocked. It wasn't really clear. So my sim again had a really hard time, and so there was only one archway once he got to this fork in the road that had 3 different ones that he could actually go through. Fortunately, he was in a terrible mood because he got stung by bees, because he was hot, and because he was bored, like his social skill was low. And there's really no one to talk to. I wish there were other sims that like randomly appeared. So sudden sloths, there's a rustle as Emery makes his way through the jungle, and he looks up to see a whole troop of sloths staring back. Should he find a different way around or walk through it? Now, he didn't have any charisma skill, and he doesn't have this flower, so I couldn't offer the flower to distract the sloth. Unfortunately, I wasn't sure what to do because I didn't want him to get stung or in a worse mood by trying to walk through the sloths, because it doesn't tell you the percentage of like success rate. So I just had him go a different way. Unfortunately, he got scratched up by flying rodents, but it is what it is. Taking a different path took him to these royal baths. Now, for some reason, there were sims out here, and I was a little confused because I haven't seen any sims up until this point on the journey. So I don't know where these sims have come from or what happened, but it's basically a pool, so it gives your sim a chance to cool down. If they're hot, it also lets them build a fitness skill, which may or may not be helpful in future pop-ups. I just recommend anytime you come to a new area while on your jungle adventure to just explore a little bit, because you don't know A, if you're going to get back here, and then B, you're just not sure what to expect. Like, I wanted him to try to talk to these people, but they were so busy swimming they were not paying him any attention. And then of course I get a ton of calls like these, all these pop-ups and sims, and it's just like, what is happening? Sometimes I wish you could disable that. Like, if you're in a destination world, can you not give me pop-ups as much, because it can be distracting from the experience. I had him swim for a little bit, but he got bored because nobody was really talking to him, so he excavated for a little bit. I'm surprised he didn't get any fitness skill from all this like running around that he was doing. Emery was making his moves out here. He got an energized moodlet from being at the springs, which was great. I wasn't expecting that. Tons of moodlets, which help keep them in a good mood, which combats the negative mood from negative events that happens to them and just their needs depletion while they're out here. I was determined to get as far as I could, during his time, because I didn't want to send him home again. I wanted to get a little bit deeper in, because this is the first time I got to cross the bridge and see these springs and do all this and that. So we worked through it. I mean, I was grateful that nothing too bad happened to him. He didn't get poisoned. The bee stung him, but the negative moodlet didn't seem to last a super long time. There also seems to be random other bugs that fly around while he's out here. So I don't know. I'm not sure what the full list of stuff I could have bought from the marketplace, but they didn't have a great variety, and I wish I would have done more prep before I sent him on vacation, because he wasn't ready. I feel like he was absolutely destroyed. by bugs and all these random pop-ups. And it was a little tedious. I mean, I wish there was a faster way to get through this. But once he got through this archway, I got another pop-up about the capybara. So should he try to see what's wrong with them or leave them in peace? Because he has such a low skill, I had to leave it in peace. The animals probably could have used some help, but they didn't. Because he's been on an adventurous time, as a part of growing together, he had the desire to get the adventurous trait. So I let him get it. Why not? You've been adventuring all this time. You might as well get some credit for it. I usually don't take my Sims out on adventures, so this was different for him. So he was very excited, very focused, very energized, and some of the scenery was gorgeous. Like this sundial in the middle of the ground is cool, but then I got lost again. I wasn't sure where to send him. Like there's no direction or like guidance. So I was trying to find another archway that he could go through or try to go through, because some of these archways are blocked off. So I ended up sending him back home for the day. I was like, hey, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to take him out, let him use the bathroom, let him eat, let him shower, and let him try. But I feel like I haven't gotten to the core of the gameplay. Besides excavating and swimming and getting attacked by bugs and all these pop-ups, like I'm not sure what he's supposed to be doing. And maybe it's my fault for not looking up a handy guide before I got started. But I was lost. Like, I don't remember this game pack when it first came out. I want to say it's a few years old. I don't think I ever really played it. So this came out in February of 2018. It was a 6-game pack for The Sims 4. And, I don't think I ever did anything with it. And I can see why. It's very niche. I don't think my Sim's going to do a lot with it. So since I sent him back home, I was going to let him sleep everything off and try again the next day. This is probably my last time sending him out to look for something more to do. Only because I feel like he's getting stuck. Like there's just nothing else for him to do. If he's not going to get to some sort of temple or some sort of massive treasure, but of course I let him eat and I let him shower and kind of, pull his needs back together just so he's starting off good for the next day. I didn't rush to get him up as early because I want him to check the marketplace one last time before I send him back out. I couldn't get his social up because I wasn't spending enough time in town talking to people. And again, you see the selection still not great. Besides Waterfall in the Bottle and the bat traps, like there was nothing new. So I didn't even end up buying anything the third day. I just sent him back out to the trail and I was like, well, whatever happens, happens at this point. So this time around, I was like, I don't know which way to go. The bridge was still up, so I figured we'd keep going that way. See if I can find another entry way to go. Yeah, unfortunately those two are still blocked off again, which I'm not sure why. But I did find another entryway that he could clear with the machete, which is significantly faster than clearing it by hand. So it says, while trekking through the jungle, Emery stumbles upon a jaguar that seems to be stalking at the edge of the lake. Should he move closer or sneak away? We tried to move closer, but it also attracted some bats, which scared the jaguar away. But it took us to a temple. This is the first time we've seen something brand new that we can interact with. It's actually a gorgeous temple, very big. I wanted to do all the stuff on the outside first before I sent him on the inside. So some more excavation. He's now level 3 of the archaeology skill, which seems like it's moving pretty fast. He hasn't done a whole whole bunch of excavating. I'm not sure if it's a 10 level skill or a 5 level skill, but he's moving up the ranks. So if I had to actually put the walls down, I didn't realize that the temple was actually underground. That's why I was like, how do I get into this? I mean, it's very picturesque. The world is very beautiful, very lush, very green. You could tell they put some thought into it. But I just wish it had a little bit better instructions on like how to navigate. I was so lost. And we've gotten a ton of relics. There's no other archways for me to go through. This temple seems to be the final destination of this one. So once I put the page down, I could see it was underground-ish. So I let him go inside to excavate another dig pile. And then I noticed there were some other artifacts that could be interacted with. So I had him interact with these 3 like skeletons with spears in their hands. And so if you have them examine the artifact first, it does use a logic skill, which unfortunately he didn't have any of before we got here. But it will kind of give you hints on how to move forward. Sometimes you have to activate things to open up different parts of the temple. I did learn that through trial and error. So he figured out some of the triggers will unlock the gate, but some won't. So he has to try his luck at either activating a trigger or examining other mechanisms. So I let him examine, because that gate is locked. You can't try to pass it while it's got all that electricity going on. So I had him examine this to see if he could activate it. I think it would have been faster if he had more handiness skill, but he just didn't. So I had him do another excavation pile. And so unfortunately you can't tell. So thumbs down means that those activations definitely won't work. And then the question mark means we just don't know what it means. Will it work? Will it not work? No, that didn't work. It's the wrong activation. It told me to look for some berries. And it's like, well, what berries? There's no trees out here. Oh, there's another bush. He might as well use the bathroom while he's out here. While I look for these berries, because it keeps referring to berries. So grateful they put a bush out here. You can even nap in the bush. I wish I would have had him nap before. But I still don't see these berries. Oh, there we go. There's a tree here. You can harvest all the berries. That will help me activate one of the traps. I didn't even notice that tree. It was so tiny. So now we're going to go back and try to activate it again. And see if we can get that to work. Now we see pulling the right skull's arm is not the right answer. Oof, that was not right either. Yeah, definitely not the right activation. Okay. So we can pull the left arm or the middle arm. We pulled the middle and it worked. So now the glowing thing that was blocking the door is off. So now we can go down another level and there's more traps that we can look at. So we can examine it first and then try to activate. I think examining first is safer. I wish his examining process was faster. Yeah, too many pop-ups. It's like, babe, I'm trying to do something. Okay, so that worked for us to go through the defenses. So now we can get past this row of like skeletons. So now we see these other ones wouldn't have worked. So there's going to be multiple puzzles and multiple options. Okay, so we're examining another possible option. Oh, I need to be inspired to activate it. I wonder how I can be inspired. Oh, there's a treasure chest. So there's a lot to explore. It's just very random. They put a curse on him. Mad that we opened the treasure chest. I like how one of the skeletons is just talking to us. I mean, that's going to help us with our social need for sure. Because the social need is so low. I hadn't talked for a little bit because his need was like in the red. Now I realized that we didn't use all the berries to activate the trap to let us get to this point. I wasn't sure how else to get him inspired. Right now he's energized from the conversation and from the other moodlets, but I don't need him energized. I need him inspired. So there's a series of berries, the muse berry that will get you inspired. And then once he ate it, he was inspired. Then I went back to activate to see if that would take off the trap. And it looks like it did. So you bypass the temple's defenses and it's open. So now you can go further in. So there's another set of stairs that goes down to what looks like, I guess, a basement. Okay, can't click on him. There's a series of bowls that we're going to examine because I'm sure one of these is going to help us get through that green gas that's pouring out. Okay, so we learned the right option is to use the leaves gift. Cool. We bypassed the defenses again, and there's a huge treasure chest in the middle that we can explore. So, I mean, I like it enough. I know there are other temples. I don't think I'll explore through them, but this is pretty much the basic premise of Jungle Adventure. It's just completing a series of exploration, getting some artifacts, learning the culture. It's cool. It took me about 30 minutes to play through to get to this one temple. It was cool, but I don't think I would do it again. I hope with the next expansion pack Adventure Awaits that the challenges are either more challenging or has more replayability, just because I'm not really too interested in this the way it is right now. But let me know in the comments below, did you have better success with Jungle Adventure and did you do all 5 temples? I'm curious to see if this is an expansion pack people really got into or this is something a lot of people just skipped. But thanks so much for watching.